Guys, there's another interesting video from Kulinski from Secular Talk, and it's kind of funny. I like Kyle. I'm a big fan of him. And it's about Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, for the first time, he rarely does this. He finally came around and started to dunk on Trump. So he's trying to betray Trump now. But Kyle is saying, no, we ain't gonna take it. You're a liar. Don't jump the ship. You're gonna perish with the ship. So it's kind of interesting. So I want you guys to look at this video. It's kind of interesting, like, because it's kind of, because Ben Shapiro finally is trying to act like, oh, if you lose to Biden, it's your fault, Trump. As you guys all know, I don't know if you guys have been following politics. If you're a fan, if you're a Trump supporter, you never say nothing bad about the great king. Everything is perfect. Everything's fantastic. So Ben Shapiro is trying to break away from that and say that, no, Trump, it's your fault for the first time. Nobody ever does this in the Trump umbrella. You always praise the king and say great things about the king Trump. So I want you guys to look at this. It's pretty good what Carl said. I agree with his viewpoint here. Look at it and think about it. Thank you.
Trump ship is sinking very fast, and a lot of prominent right-wingers are realizing that, and they're fleeing. So Ben Shapiro says the following: if Donald Trump loses by double digits to a comatose 78-year-old career politician plagued by incoherence and Lagoria, I actually don't know how to pronounce that, but it means, like being long-winded or whatever, and pledging to enact the most radical left-wing agenda in American political history, I'm sorry, but that's on Trump. The campaign against Biden isn't difficult. It just requires Trump to take himself out of the spotlight and put Biden in it, and Trump refuses to do it. Now, to that last tweet, it really ain't that simple, Ben. It's really not as simple as like, hey, you shut up and let Biden take the spotlight, and then Biden will lose. I agree with him that it would be a closer race in that scenario, but here's the main point. When you're president and you have a pandemic on your watch and what is effectively an economic depression on your watch, it almost doesn't even matter. Even if you had the perfect strategy and you did everything right, you could still lose, because those material conditions are going to override everything else. The economy is going to override everything else. The sickness and the deaths as a result of the sickness are going to override everything else, because everything else is less serious in the face of these crises. So even if he was running a great campaign, he still would probably lose. But here we have a situation where he's not running a great campaign and he's got the depression and the pandemic. So that's why these guys are running. Again, this is Ben Shapiro saying this. If Donald Trump loses by double digits to a comatose 78-year-old career politician plagued by incoherence and whatever that word is, I still don't know how to say it, and pledging to enact the most radical left-wing agenda in American political history, I'm sorry, but that's on Trump. By the way, the idea that Biden is promising to enact the most radical left-wing agenda in American history, that's beyond comical. Beyond comical. FDR was way further left. LBJ was further left. Are you kidding me? He's going to be like Bill Clinton and like Obama, which is center-right. Most radical left-wing agenda. Oh, please. He said he's not going to raise taxes on anybody making $400,000 a year or less. Radical left-wing agenda. I wish. He's not going to do Medicare for all. He's not going to do free college. What a goofball. Radical left-wing agenda. But anyway, what Ben is saying is, hey, Trump owns this. It's all on Trump. In a weird way, I'm actually going to slightly disagree with that. It ain't just Trump, Ben. It's Trump, and it's the other Republicans, and it's the right-wing pundits. Like, you all own this, bro. You all own this. You want to know why? Because Donald Trump is the Republican id. That's why. You understand? He's the Republican id. So, in other words, Donald Trump is Mitt Romney. Donald Trump is fill in the blank with whatever Republican you want. George W. Bush, Ted Cruz. The only difference is Donald Trump also does mean tweets and has no filter. That's the only difference. He tweets in all caps and with exclamation points, and he ruffles people's feathers. He's got zero filter. But policy-wise, he's exactly like every other Republican. And this is the main point of me talking about this, is do not let these weasels wiggle their way out of this. Because what they're going to try to do in a situation where there's a Trump bloodbath and he gets crushed. All the rats are going to flee the ship, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, see, but the thing was, it's not that the right-wing brand is still good, conservatism is still good. The whole problem was Trump. He's the whole problem. The rest of the Republicans, me and my homies are good. I don't know what you're talking about. Ted Cruz is still great, George W. Bush is still great. All these right-wing pundits who fell in line behind Trump, no. What they were really the right ones, and Trump was wrong. And then they have legitimacy and credibility on their own. That's not tied to Trump, so take them seriously. And by the way, the media helps people like Ben Shapiro too, because they do have this false dichotomy of like, here are the good Republicans, here are the bad Republicans. And as soon as Trump is gone, they've already been rehabilitating the run-of-the-mill conservatives, and they're going to do it again. And this is Ben Shapiro trying to establish that. Hey, if Trump loses, it's not because conservatism isn't cool. Because he's an ideologue. He's a hardcore conservative. So he wants to be able to save that, have that not be tarnished, and have Trump take all the blame. I'm not buying it, Ben. It is the ideology. Yes, it's the craziness, all that, for sure. But it's also his ideology, which is deeply unpopular. The fact he's continued the wars. The fact he did the 2017 Republican tax cuts for the rich. See, Ben wants to defend all those things and say, just Trump gets all the blame. Weasel. Go down with the ship, dog. Go down with the ship.
Go down with the ship.
It's coming, and he doesn't want to do that.
Go down with the ship.
Hello. Okay, yeah. So as you hear, that's the perfect line. What Carl said. Yeah, you need to go down with the ship, Ben Shapiro. You cannot play those kind of games with us, because now the ship. You see that Trump is totally messing up on every angles. And now you're trying to act like, oh no, it's only Trump. But when Trump was doing things, you totally supported him. You and Fox News and everybody else and all the conservative. And your ideology is the ideology of the individual, right? Individualism. Which I believe also. I'm a capitalist also. But I'm a capitalist with like let me not call myself a capitalist. I'm neither capitalist or socialist. But I like ideas from both sides. And I go shopping at both supermarkets. I look at them as supermarkets, and I pick some ideas in each of them, and I make my choices. But what I can say is that I do shop at the left-wing supermarket a lot, a little bit more than the right wing. But I do keep the right wing in check, because I think the right wing has some good ideas also. So that's who I am. But so yeah, Ben. The fact that he's coming out now and saying that Trump is bad, it's a little bit too late. It's like we are like 20 what is it, less than a month away from the election. That's when you're going to call out Trump? Come on. That's a weak way of revolting against the establishment. It's very weak. You should have done that 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Goodbye, Ben. And I'm hoping that Trump gets his ass whipped given to him, because he pushed it too much. Even when he had COVID, he removed the mask. So he's really showing us that he doesn't care, and he's very rebellious against it. So we have to show him with all our strength that we are against that. When we tell you that COVID-19 kills, you better shut up and fucking wear a mask and don't fucking go out. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry to curse. I don't mean to curse. But I'm saying that when you see that it's like that, that's the way it is. Take care, guys. Have a good one.